Hey guys, it's Katie here to kick off a double review with myself and Helen Jane of two of the big anime theatrical releases that took place earlier this year. I will be reviewing Viz Media's dubbed and remastered re-release of Sailor Moon R the movie. You guys might know this as Promise of the Rose, because that's what it was released as when Deke released it originally. But this time it's just its original Japanese Sailor Moon R the movie, and it's pretty impressive that it got another theatrical release, not only because anime is pretty rare to see in theaters in general, but because it's already 25 years old. It's really great that Viz has gone beyond not only dubbing Crystal and not only dubbing the original anime, but also went on to do this movie and to put it out into theaters. Because it's such a cool part of Moonie history, and a lot of international fans were really, really excited this year to be able to experience it in theaters for the first time, because it either wasn't in their country the first time it actually was released, or they weren't around to make it. So this was definitely one of the biggest anime events of this year.
However, there is one other movie that was hyped even since its announcement 2 years ago. It made over 1 billion yen by the time Jump Fest happened a few months ago, and had a re-release in IMAX theaters in Japan in the months when the franchise was released 21 years ago. Yu-Gi-Oh! Darkside of Dimensions is one of the closest hypes since forever in the community. Unlike the 2-week run in the US, over here in the small part of the world, it was a 1-week release, classed as a festival according to Event Cinema, which was the cinema I attended to, but I do not know it's classed the same thing at other cinemas. But some cinemas did get extended showings. This movie is gonna have a bit of spoilers, so here's your only warning.
To quickly recap Sailor Moon R, the movie, just so we all know what's going on, it is set during the Black Moon arc, and Usagi and her friends are enjoying a rare moment of peace when a mysterious figure from Mamoru's past returns and threatens Usagi. Soon after that, an evil and powerful plant lands on Earth from space, draining energy from all of the populace of Tokyo, and leading the Senshi to the meteor it originated from, where they have to figure out who is leading this attack, how to stop them, and what connection they have to Mamoru.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Darkside of Dimensions is a mix of a coming-of-age story, trying to change the world, and a hunt for a Temu. Set after the Millennium Arc in the manga, we pick up the story where Kaga leaves a dig at the last place the Millennium items were seen, in the Gateway Shrine in Egypt, 6 months later after the Temu left for good. Yugi and the gang is in their final year. They are finally senpais, and there is a new enemy who is on the prowl. Oh, there's also a new space station that Kaga built too.
Alright, we're gonna dive in with the things that we like, dislike, and our favorite and least favorite scenes from both movies. For me, the Sailor Moon R movie, before they showed any of the animation, the voice actors, Stephanie Sheh, who does Usagi, Robbie Damon, who does Mamoru, and Ben Diskin, who made his debut in this movie because he's doing Feore, gave a short introduction to the movie and did an interview answering some questions regarding their characters and their roles in the story. And it was just really cool to see them talk about their characters, because you could see how much love and thought goes into their performances, and how much they aren't just reading lines, they understand their characters and care about them. The movie was also preceded by a short called Makeup Sailor Senshi. It's just a fun little scenario where Usagi and Chibiusa overhear a pair of teenage girls admiring and comparing the Sailor Senshi and talking about, like, their fighting tactics and their strengths. And not only is it a great introduction to the characters for anyone who's watching the movie who hasn't seen the anime before, but it's also just really funny to watch Usagi get increasingly more frustrated as all the other Senshi are praised and swooned over, and everyone's like, oh, Sailor Mars is so great, but Sailor Jupiter's so strong. And Usagi's like, okay, but what about Sailor Moon? But she can't just go up to these kids and tell them that because that would be creepy. As for the movie itself, everything there is to love about the anime is represented in the movie. There's comedy, character development, interactions, it's all there. And when things get serious on that meteor, Sailor Moon's heartbreak and willingness to sacrifice everything, including herself, to save her friends, is really intense. As is watching her make the ultimate sacrifice to bring everyone safely to Earth and keep the meteor from crashing to the ground. Fiore's journey carries another one of Sailor Moon's main themes, which is how kindness and friendship can change a person for the better, even if they were evil. Despite all that he'd done, Usagi and Mamoru were able to show him what it's like to have someone care about him in an unselfish and genuine way. And that compassion is what ended up saving all of them, because he, in return, acted in kindness towards them. And also, I just want to mention, given Fiore's physical attributes, his hair, his skin tone, his eye shape, his connection to evil plants, and the clothing he's shown wearing as like a child and when he's out of his evil flower suit, I'm pretty sure Fiore was a lost member of that same alien race as Ael and An, because they look really similar. And I think that would actually be pretty cool if that was the case. I mean, it's never mentioned, but I just think it's a fun theory. I only have one thing that actually I didn't like about the movie, and it's that it bothered me that Mamoru apparently entirely forgot what was supposed to be such a pivotal moment in his childhood, which was meeting Fiore, developing this friendship with him, and then Fiore disappearing. It was supposed to be hugely impactful on his emotional recovery after losing his parents, but then he doesn't remember any of it until Fiore comes back. And I know that people don't remember everything from their childhood, especially like if it's something like what might be an imaginary friend that people say, oh, well, that's not real, so they just kind of disregard it. And that sometimes they'll even block out something really traumatic, like losing a friend. But I feel like if their friendship was supposed to be that important to Mamoru, he would have remembered at least that part of it. My favorite moment in the movie was when Rei detected all of that evil energy coming from the Zenian flower that had landed on Earth, and was the first one to start tearing through vines and kicking ass. I'm a huge Sailor Mars fangirl, so that's probably not much of a surprise, but I just think it's really cool whenever we get a reminder of how much power Sailor Mars has, even when she isn't channeling all of her Senshi energy. She has all of this psychic and energy channeling ability, and she doesn't even have to transform to do it, and I always love seeing that. My least favorite moment, anyone who has seen it will probably know what I'm talking about when I say he threw a flower at me, because there is no voice actor on Earth that could save that line from just sounding totally ridiculous, and, you know, my theater was packed full of diehard Sailor Moon fans and nobody could take that line seriously.
However, for Darkside of Dimensions, I want to flip the positive and negatives around, so we have negatives and positives. This way, I can get all the negatives out, knocked out the ballpark, and it's not that much. Then we can go straight into the positives. So, the first thing that I didn't like is there's so much CGI. I'm more of a classic girl, and I love Duel Monsters, both as a sub and of course also the dub. Why don't I like CGI? Well, I do because it fits in certain scenes. Not themes. Scenes. But when it comes to the monster battles and some of the monsters, it reminds me of Generation 4 and Generation 5. I don't mind it if it was like how 5Ds was. Like, still had the CGI for a few monsters, but most of the monsters still the exact same thing. Then have that 2D animation behind it. But seeing like so much CGI in Darkside is like, no. Like, don't get me wrong, I like CGI, but not so like all in one sitting. Another gripe that I had is like more about Agami's history and when he's known as his real name, Diva. I would love to know what happened to him before he became a beggar and after Shorty actually saved him, his sister Sarah, and his friends from their master, well, former master. It's like, I know he's supposed to be shrouded in mystery, but at least showed what happened before he became a beggar and before Shorty got killed. Another thing, well, a person that I don't really like in the movie is Bakura's father. Well, Roll Bakura's father. He's so greedy, and basically so creepy. Bakura's father wants to buy the ring, and Shorty said you can go and have it for free. But be aware, if it doesn't find you worthy, a consequence will happen. But it's like so freaking greedy, and it also contradicts what I was told that his father went on an expedition. He was given the ring. He got the ring and passed it to Rob Bakura. So that kind of contradicts a bit. So if people find this as anime, it totally contradicts what Bakura said in episode 13. There was one thing I didn't like, and it's Sork's cubic form. It's basically mostly cringeworthy to an extent, but yeah, it's like, ugh. But what I love about the movie is like, okay, I have a confession. I'm a sucker for music. Mostly instrumentals. If you have listened, well, this is basically more if you watch the anime itself. You probably notice that there's some older tunes and scores being mixed into the newer scores and instrumentals, which is a really, really clever idea. I just love how the character designs ended up being. There's few articles around telling about, well, basically like the design choices, like for Anzu, her design is supposed to make her look cute. Joe was given like a softer face, which I think suits him much more because when he does his signature face, yes, he does have a signature face. No, I cannot find it for the life of me. But it's like you have to watch the anime or the movie to see. But having that softer look, it's really, really cool. And when he does that face with, I think, Honda as well, it went back to his normal face, close to his normal face shape in the anime, which is really good Easter egg. They got new outfits as well. If you haven't noticed in like promos, and just love how the characters sound more like softer, like they sound like they actually have grown up. It was really awesome. I just love how Enzo is portrayed as well. During the anime, the classic anime dub, people said Enzo was really annoying because of her voice in his pep talks. This movie hardly had any pep talks as per se, and yeah, the movie showed how humble Kaiba is. You usually don't see that kind of side of Kaiba that often outside when he's talking to Mokuba. When he's Mokuba, he shows his nice, kind, and generous side. You actually get to see it in the movie. I think it's close to the end, and for a long time, even since Duel's Kingdom, you get to see a genuine smile. Of course, he can smile and smirk and all that kind of stuff, but seeing that interaction with him and Yugi, it's kind of like a really good nod back to Duel's Kingdom, when it's like, Yugi, thank you for saving my brother. And he gave a really good genuine smile. So it was really cool to see that. And it gave me a bit of new respect for Kaiba, because it's a side that I've never actually seen before. So like, wow. We got to also, that's what I also love, that we get a bit of a backstory. If you can remember, there's a character called Shari, and his role basically was to keep an eye on the Millennium items. We get to learn about his main power, which was the planner. He also has a last name called Shin. We also learn closer to the location of Domino City. The 3 possible places, according to my research when I got home, is either Yokohama, Nagoya, and Tokyo. The region Tokyo, not Tokyo City. It's really cool to actually see things like that answers some of the questions, because one of the major things about Shodi is like, who is this guy? And in the Millennium arc, it's like, is he Shota? Is he Shota? So, favorite scenes? Well, I'm probably going to do the exact same thing as what I do for the positives and negatives. I'm going to do my least favorite scenes first. Then I am going to do my most favorite scenes. My least favorite scene, no doubt, hands down, is when Juniwachi nearly died. Runner up, it had to be that Yuki nearly died again. I do not have a third least favorite scene, to be quite honest. Those two are my least favorite scenes because I do not like death or close to death stuff, but get everything happy again. My most favorite scene, well, it was really tough. There was like a whole lot, but out of all of them, I just had to choose the reunion of both Yugi. Hands down, and having Yugi relaying, saying that to the group that he wished the rest of them all the best. That was really cool. My second or runner-up is, it had to be the water bottle scene. It had to be. Every time when I think about it, I give a little bit of a giggle. The runner-up, well, the highly commended, is really this is like a new chapter for the group. That Enzo actually for the US for her further studies. It was really like a really good moment. It's a bit emotional, and I get a bit of teary eyes thinking about it, but It's like really symbolic, saying that she's going to bigger and better places. Before we carry on, I'd just like to point out that Takahashi now has an Instagram account. Like all these drawings that he did as well, like some are really realistic, some of them is focused on monsters, but there is one of the pictures there that is indeed canon to this movie. But I will put the link to the Instagram in the description below.
Theaters participating in this event gave out a series of 6 character cards, and each ticket came with a single card. They had either one of the 5 Inner Senshi or Tuxedo Mask on it. My mom and I both got Sailor Mercury, and there should be a picture of my card up right about now. It's a nice quality card, durable enough to display, and it came in a pretty black envelope with the Sailor Moon logo on it, and of course the artwork is adorable. It's some of the new, kind of more polished artwork that has been seen with a lot of the Viz re-release stuff. The envelope also had a couple of flyers for Viz Media's Sailor Moon DVD and Blu-ray releases and their complete re-release of the manga. Some theaters, I guess, were also giving out movie posters, but unfortunately mine was not among them, so I don't have a picture of that to share.
Like the Sailor Moon R movie, you also receive a limited edition card. Unlike the Sailor Moon R movie, you only get just one card. It's the alternative art of Obelisk the Tormentor, or Osiris. It's in the style of the promo rarity of the Movie Pack Gold Edition, and it looks amazing, even in the still image. We'll be having a look at the card very soon, basically on another date with something else, so I will show you the card, what it looks like, but in the in the moment, just hang tight.
Alright, we are now going to give different aspects of the movie scores from 1 to 10. We're going to start with the animation. For animation, this was the lowest score for me for Sailor Moon R at a 6.5 out of 10. I'm not saying it was bad, it was not at all bad, but it was pretty average for what you'd see in one of the better animated episodes. And considering that this was a movie, it would have been nice to see a bit more detail, I think. This extra 0.5 is for some digital effects that were used, like when Ami is scanning the meteor and doing some research on her computer, and that was pretty cutting edge at the time, so that would have been pretty impressive, but there wasn't really enough there to make the film stand out anymore from the episodes. Like the episode DVD and Blu-rays that Viz has released, the film did get an HD remaster, so that added a lot to its coloring and clarity. The music, I'm giving it an 8 out of 7. It was also remastered, and all of the music in the film was straight from its original Japanese release, so no Power of Love, guys, even though that was such a great 90s song. It's not in this one. There was lots of music from the show, but there were a few standouts that were original pieces for the movie during emotional and climactic moments. I love the music from the anime, so I loved hearing it in the movie, and it was different than the animation because there was enough new stuff that I didn't mind so much hearing what we already heard in the anime. One full point of this 8 out of 10 is entirely due to Moon Revenge because it is such a great song, and seeing it in context in the movie when Sailor Moon and the Senshi are fighting for their lives to steer this meteor makes it even more powerful. The story, I give a 7 out of 10 because even the enemies in Sailor Moon tend to be beautiful, so, you know, what could be prettier than shots full of flower fields and a big flower monster? Fiore is a really complicated character. You know, he really makes you wonder how much of a villain he really was and how much of his behavior was influenced by the Zenian flower. Obviously, he had some sort of dark emotions that it attached to, but what would have been different if the flower hadn't been there to really manipulate him, and what could he have maybe learned on his own to control? Because we all have emotions like that. It's just a matter of what you do with them. The movie's themes of love and friendship, and how they can bond people so strongly, even across long periods of time and long distances, and, you know, even in outer space. Those are all things that the franchise is all about, and they're really well represented here. Voice acting work, I'm giving a 9 out of 10. It is so close to perfect. I've already said in multiple places before how much I love the Viz Media cast, and their performances in this movie have only strengthened that adoration. Ben Diskin is a very worthy addition to the cast, and his portrayal of Feore in both his fiercest and most vulnerable moments fits in perfectly with the cast of established characters. All of the happiness and sorrow and rage and defeat and fear and triumph were all played powerfully but not melodramatically, and it's just so clear how much the cast loves and understands their characters, and isn't just reading lines. They actually know what's going on and they understand it, and it just shows a lot when they're doing this acting. The only drawbacks in terms of the voice acting I have to mention were that I just never really like it when adult actors put on quote-unquote kid voices for their characters in flashbacks, which obviously there's quite a few flashbacks with Mamoru as a child meeting Feore, and also even there's a bit of a flashback with Usagi. It just always sounds really fake to me. It just always sounds like adults making kid voices, and it bugs me. And Stephanie Sheh, as beautifully as she plays Usagi 99% of the time, I love her so much. She just doesn't have quite that perfect comedic crybaby wail that like Tracy Moore or Linda Valentine from The Clover Way or Deep Dubs had, and they pulled it off so perfectly, and they kind of spoiled me because Stephanie Sheh, as great as she does, just doesn't do it as well. Overall, making an average of these scores, this movie gets a 7.5 out of 10, which I think is pretty fitting. All of the movie's elements came together to create something beautiful for old and new fans alike. It wasn't groundbreaking in terms of either the Sailor Moon franchise or film and animation in general, but it maintained a standard of quality that still makes it definitely worthwhile to watch and a necessity for any Sailor Moon fan. Viz Media's restoration lets fans experience the movie like you've never seen it or heard it before, and it really adds a lot to an already exciting experience.
Man, this was really hard to score. It was really amazing, but I do not want to give complete, like, 10s across the board, so I had to be much more strict for Darkside of Dimensions. So, of course, they start with animation. I give the animation about 7 out of 10. Okay, think 5D's animation, but more refined and remastered. It's breathtaking, and I can guarantee that it's really breathtaking. And Carver's Disney draw, it was totally flawless, but I have to deduct some points off for the CGI. It reminds me of Generation 4 and Generation 5, since it's relies more on that kind of style. It's kind of disappointing, but at least the recent animation makes up for it, which is really, really cool. Music / score, I have to give it 10 out of 10. I can't seem to fault it. They bring in old songs and scores from the past, and it truly hit home. And if you stay to the end, you would have actually listened to the remix of the classic opening, and I fell in love with it. Also, if you watch the movie, you probably have noticed some of the old songs as well. If you notice any kind of classic songs that you remember from your childhood, because according to other music producers, they are Easter eggs. So if you find any kind of Easter eggs that you can pick out, please comment down below. I would love to see your answers. According to them, some are easier to find than others. So thank you so much, music producers. Thank you. Story, I have to give it 7 out of 10. It's getting most of the questions answered, but I left with new questions more than answers than it actually promised. Okay, like I said, I want to know more about Diva, and no, I'm not going to count the one-shots. I would love to know more about his backstory. I want to learn more about how Shari had the planner, more about Maddie. They were the only plot holes that I could see. Other than that, it was a great storyline, and how Kaiba believed that Timu can come back one more time, and it changed my mind about how bleak this character was. Though I am on Team Yuki in the movie. For the movie, I again have a newfound respect for Kaiba. Voice acting, 8 out of 10. I did this so there won't be a pattern. Had said that, it was amazing to see how much love and care the voice actors had for the characters, and it shows throughout the movie. I mean, I know that Yugi can become really, really angry, but seeing him put Kaiba in his place, it really shows that he has some traits of a Timu. And again, I just have to point out Anzu again. I just love how she was the performance is like really, really awesome. It showed that she really matured and grew out of the prep talk all the time stage. And I just love how the Kaiba lines, it really had a smile on my face when watching this movie. Even though it's supposed to be like a smart aleck rival, best lines. It's like brought back, like when he's in any episodes, he always steals the show. This was definitely the case here. Overall, it's basically 8 out of 10. It made me laugh, gasp, and even pulls the feel strings. It was the best out of the 4 movies that I ever seen. And when Mad Men releases on DVD, I am sure to get a copy on my own. And that was just a serving. Personally, it was a great one to see. And I recommend you to not watch the low quality version that has been recently leaked. Don't watch that. Wait until the DVD and Blu-ray gets released. Please support the anime, the manga, the franchise as a whole. Get them. Wait, it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be a whole lot of extras, because I'm pretty sure the interviews are gonna be on there that 4K Media has released. I'm pretty sure that the director ones that Crunchyroll released officially, that's probably going to be on there. There's going to be people who did card selfies, and probably more as well. And when the soundtrack is actually confirmed to be released, get that as well. Don't try and watch the leaks. Wait until you get the high quality stuff. But the main question is, was it really worth the hype? Totally. It had that feeling that, that feeling that you bump into somebody that you know from your childhood and you're like, oh, hi, how are you? Remember me kind of stuff? It's that. It's like catching up with friends that you haven't seen in a while and see what they were up to. I just hope in the future there will be just one more one-shot to see how everyone is. To see if Beat 2 was a big hit. I might be dreaming here, but it would be nice. But for now, it's time to say goodbye to Yuki and the gang one more time as they venture off in the different ways.
That is all for the Sailor Moon portion of this double review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has inspired you to check out the Sailor Moon R movie. It is available for pre-order now from Viz Media, and it will be released on Blu-ray and DVD on April 18th. I'll go ahead and include that pre-order link in the description. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please feel free to share your thoughts on both the movie and the review in the comments. And I'll catch you later, guys. Bye.
So that's it. Thank you for going through our double review thing. It's kind of like a test for another review that we're planning to do this year, and we're going to make sure that we do it. So if you like that, please hit that like button. If you want to follow for more content, subscribe and ring that bell. If you have any want to add any more thoughts, please put it down description below. And like I said before, if you picked out any Easter eggs from the Darkside of Dimensions movie, which is basically the scores, put it down as well. I would love to compare your answers for what I picked up as well. So until next time, see ya!